It's time now for our press review. Deepti Laurent takes a look at how the front pages are covering the Russian invasion. Deepti, we're seeing a lot of focus in the papers today on what's happening in Kyiv.
Well, the Spanish paper Vanguardia says Russia is reinforcing its fierce offensive to occupy Kyiv, Sharon. Like a lot of the Spanish dailies today, they've published a very graphic photo of a dead body from that bloodshed in Kyiv yesterday. The Daily Mirror, the British daily, is paying tribute to, quote, hero Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and his defiant words that Ukrainians will fight to the death to defend their capital. And then you have this from the Swiss paper Le Temps, which says that Vladimir Putin has managed to do what the wars in Yugoslavia, the wars on terror, and the war in Iraq didn't even do. That's a dramatic acceleration of history that's forced even Germany out of its pacifist politics and Switzerland out of its neutrality. That cartoon there is from Patrick Chapat, the paper's illustrator, who sees this invasion really as literally carving out a new world order.
Staying with the illustrated press then, the bloodiness is also being echoed in lots of cartoons across the board today.
Well, you have Patrick Blower's cartoon. He's from the Daily Telegraph. He really notes that he's sort of focusing on the timing of the battle for Kyiv. It's Ash Wednesday today, a Christian holiday marking the beginning of Lent. But Patrick Blower sees Ash Wednesday as something far more sinister, the possible reduction to rubble of Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. Putin, with his bloody invasion of Ukraine, has not just taken us back to the Cold War era, he's taken us right back to pre-evolution, as you see in this cartoon here from Peter Brooks. Putin there taking us all the way back with his bloody footprints. And another evocative illustration is from Martin Sutovec, the world really fearing a bloodbath in Kyiv. Putin's close ally, Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, there stepping into a bath with Putin in the colors of Ukraine, literally filled with blood.
They capture the situation so well, don't they? The cartoons that we're seeing coming out of those papers right across the world. Now, the Telegraph, you're looking at what they're doing specifically, talking about possible disarray in the Russian military ranks, and they think that's possibly what's been delaying their assault on the capital, Kyiv.
Well, Russian troops are in complete disarray. That's right, Sharon. Well, according to these audio recordings obtained by a British intelligence group called Shadow Down International, and in these intercepted messages, troops appear to refuse to obey Central Command orders to shell Ukrainian towns. There's a video recording showing a group of Russian military allegedly walking away from the battlefront and heading over across the border back to Russia. According to the Pentagon, some Russian conscripts even punched holes into the fuel tanks of their vehicles to ensure that they couldn't reach the front line. The founder of Shadowbreak International describes troops' low morale, some crying in these audio recordings, some yelling, Vladimir Putin wanting to present a very calculated, organized military operation. These as yet unverified recordings, according to the Telegraph, do appear to show much the contrary.
In any regard, the approach to Kyiv has been slower, I think, than many commentators might have expected. Now, Russia, it's moved to block 2 independent media outlets over what it's calling deliberately false information. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, this is information relayed by the Moscow Times, considered itself as an independent media outlet in Russia. It reports that 2 outlets, the independent Dozhda TV channel and Echo Muscovy Radio, were taken off the air upon the orders of Russia's prosecutor general. They're accused by the government of spreading, quote, deliberately false information about the actions of the Russian military personnel in Ukraine. Now, both websites were unavailable in Russia shortly after that announcement on Tuesday. Dozens of media workers and independent outlets like Dozhda have been designated foreign agents by Russian authorities. That's according to the Moscow Times. Meanwhile, the editors at the Russian media outlet Novaya Gazeta call this decision a, quote, undisguised fact of censorship, and they warn that pulling the plug on these media will also gag tens of millions of Russians who listen to these outlets. The paper actually offers their space today to the journalists of Echo and Dozhda to continue their reporting. Now, you'll remember that Gazeta Novaya won a Nobel Peace Prize last year for its efforts to continue reporting despite intimidation, threats, and even murder.
Finally then from you, Deepti, Russia's invasion, it's also mobilized the world to rally behind Ukraine. One American student in particular you've been taking a look at what he's been getting up to.
Well, this student, he actually went viral a few months ago. His name is Jack Sweeney. He made it his hobby to follow the whereabouts of private jets belonging to billionaire entrepreneurs using public data from plane transponders and then publishing them online via Twitter bots. His hobby actually went viral earlier this year when Elon Musk actually sent him a private message offering cash in exchange for him deleting a Twitter bot that was following Musk's plane. Sweeney has now put his cyber nuisance activities to good use. He's been tracking the movements of Russian oligarchs' planes and posting them online via a Twitter bot called Russian Oligarch Jets. It's already amassed tens of thousands of followers.
It's just an example of what people around the world are trying to do if they can make any tiny little bit of difference themselves. Yeah. Deepti Laurent, thank you so much for that review of the newspapers.